Good evening and welcome to the Sami Parvez show. Thank you so much, Donovan, for after a long time seeing you again and welcome to the Sami Parvez show. How are you doing, my friend?
Sammy, I'm good. I'm not using my fancy microphone because the internet's going to go down at my where I work, so I can't really connect. So we're using my phone for right now. But it is going. It's going well, Sammy. It's been very busy.
Yeah, it seems like. And
Sammy, I'm not using my fancy microphone because.
mm-hmm, oh, I lost you.
Oh, did I lose?
No,
Did I
you are
lose you?
here. Yeah. Yeah, I think I was just hearing you. Okay.
I
Yeah, yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah. Yeah, I muted like that was playing, like the YouTube when I connected it to online, so it got like playing. So that
That's
was
okay.
the why. Yep. Okay, so how have you been?
I've been good. It's been cold, Sammy. We were the Grand
Mm.
Prairie, Alberta was the coldest place on the planet back on
Wow.
Tuesday for about
Mm-hmm.
10 hours, like 10 or 12 hours. It was minus like 42 with wind chills down to like minus 50. Very cold. Which is also probably, yeah, I've been busy. I'm doing all my musicals. I look tired. I got like rings under my eyes. I never look at how, oh, I look awful. I haven't gotten a good sleep in a while, Sammy. I know you've been busy. You've been a working man too. We've been working. We're
Yeah,
we're the oil that keeps this country going, Sammy.
going
It's you and
you
me.
bet, sir. Yeah, yeah, we are the one
But
who
yeah,
are
no,
running
it's
this.
been good. It's been good.
So it seems like lots of
Oh
things
yeah.
happening in Canadian politics, in Ontario, as well as in Alberta. Everywhere something is happening, And we have Trump tariff. Sometimes he says that he is going to put them, but he again pauses. This time he paused for a month due to Trudeau called him. I don't know, like they agreed to do something about those illegal drugs, illegal immigrants crossing to the U.S. And yeah, so, and also, unfortunately, you could not make like those 50, whatever those thousands were for liberal leadership. You could not make it. Sorry to hear that. But wishing you good luck.
Yeah.
And you are right now running for what, like for a president or something? You said
Yeah,
what
I'm
that?
I'm running for president of my teachers association. So the Alberta Teachers Association is having their election, and I've put my name forward, despite the fact that I've never been a school representative. I've never been actually a part of the machine, which is kind of interesting. But the people are it seems to be vibing well. People seem to be liking it. So that's also a thing that I've been doing. I'm playing saxophone in a musical, Sammy. I'm to be ATA president running. It's just so much, so busy, which is kind of fun.
Okay, wishing you good luck for your this contest, or I don't know, like what should I call it?
It's an election. It's
Hopefully,
an
you will win
election.
it.
It'll be
You
in
win this
March.
election.
It'll be in March. So we'll see what happens with that.
How many candidates are running?
There are three candidates, Sammy. There are three candidates. There's me, Peter McKay, not the politician, but a teacher, and then Jason Schilling, who's the incumbent president. So
Mm-hmm.
they are.
So how
That
are
is the
you?
trio.
Mhm. So did you approach all the teachers?
Uh, well, the teachers at the schools I teach at seem to like me. We posted videos. So if you want, you can look up Alberta teachers, and you can see my video, and you can see the video of all the president candidates. It's all pretty public, so that's pretty good. So yeah, feel free to watch it if you'd like. And I have yet to actually interact with Jason Schilling or Peter McKay. Um,
Mhm.
they're probably not the biggest fans of me because I'm calling out the things I don't like the fiscal mismanagements and all these things of like ATA fees going to stupid things. But whatever, that's the way it goes, Sammy. You know
Mhm.
how it is.
Yep. And so is it like just in your school like association, or it is all your Grand Prairie Teachers Association? How is
It's
it?
all of the province. It's the
All the
provincial. So it's
province.
the head of the teachers association for the whole province.
Wow,
So
that would be great.
oh man, if I won that, Sammy, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like this. I've never won anything in my life. I've always been third place. So this is it's a very new feeling that I'm getting because I'm getting lots of messages from people and it's
So
a lot of fun.
how are they responding? Like I wish you very best. Like I pray to God Almighty that you may win. You know, like it must be
Mm.
a successful to you. So how are they responding? Like are they are you receiving like a positive response?
Yeah, no, I just saw. So somebody posted. I just saw someone posted on Reddit, connecting my video and sort of saying that, hey, he's saying a lot of really good things, and I'd say the comments are 90% positive, and even the one that's negative is still highlighting that, hey, it's nice to see that he's doing it, but he's has no experience, which is that's kind of ultimately the which makes sense. You know, I've not been a part of the machine. I've not really been a part of the executive committee. I haven't done air council. I haven't done really a lot of that stuff. Um, but even the negative one still says that it's almost that I'm naive, which is fine. I am quite naive in a lot of ways. But it is still highlighting uh, that she should run. And yeah, it's like even the negative ones are still like he's making good points, which I think is good. Certainly, the lack of experience is a bit interesting. That's I also say that in my video. I say that I have no experience, which probably scares a lot of people, but it also gives a breath of fresh air. Um, but yeah, I'd say overall it's been quite positive. You said even the negative one is still sort of saying that it's more that I'm naive, but I make some points that are positive, and I just got to keep on going, Sammy. I just have to keep on going. And I think that the reception I've been getting at school has been good. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, people seem to
Yeah.
enjoy it, which is
Mhm.
good.
As you are young, like optimistic, energetic, so you maybe could be better than anyone else. Like like you should be given a chance. Like you cannot gain experience until you don't have that position. That's
Oh,
common sense.
100%. How could I even know what being ATA president is like if I'm not there? Exactly, Sammy.
Mhm,
I also have like I also say like I actually kind of don't want to win just
mhm,
because like I like being in the classroom, which in turn is also like a reason to vote for me because I don't want to be president for 20 years. I don't want to, like, I want to, if I'm going to get this, I want to make measurable, impactful change. And it's a 2 year term and then get right back to teaching. Like, I don't want, a lot of these guys end up going into public policy jobs or they work for like different government things or they work as like a and it's like they get out of the classroom and they don't want to come back. I want to come back. I like teaching. It's fun. It's cool seeing kids learn and understand things. I teach high school social and band and it's cool watching them understand how the world works. I don't want to to have to do government nonsense, but if they want me to, I'll take the fall for 2 years. If that's the case, so be it. I'll be the guy, Sammy. I will take the fall. It is what I
mhm.
am best at.
Yeah, usually whoever has the power, like they don't leave it. As we have like our premier Doug Ford, who just called an early election for sake of his own job to just save it. Like he does not know, like he's not 100% sure if he would call an election on the next date in the next year, so maybe he won't win. And right now
Sammy,
the
that's not what
numbers
he
are
said.
dramatically.
That's Sammy. That's not what Doug Ford said. Doug Ford said he's calling the election to fight Trump. So I think we should believe him. That's what happened. It's definitely not because he might lose in a year and a half. It's because he's fighting Donald Trump. Oh, wait, the tariffs have been pushed back. Maybe we can call off the election right now. No, we're going to do it because I got to fight off Donald Trump. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's
it's
what.
yeah, greasy politicians.
That's why I wrote my column last week for the Ashwa Central newspaper that it means Doug Ford like gamble 189 million, not for the people, for his job. Like for
Yeah.
power, not the people. So yeah, like I know like what politician says, like what Trudeau is saying, what Trudeau said. Now what he is saying that we need to come together to be united as Team Canada, like back in 2019 or 2021. Remember 2022, January 2022, like he called us like misogynist or racist or French French minority, or I don't know, like he called us many names, like he just labeled us like sometimes like maybe labeled us terrorist or whatever. Like suddenly his tone got changed because he needs us. So this is how politics work, and Donovan is not a career politician, and he's running for teacher association presidential candidate. So maybe you need to vote him, and he just want to serve for a year, for one term, not for entire lifetime. He wants to get back to uh, classroom, so he does not need that one for any other thing. So likewise, like our politician, they don't think about like this. Like they want to serve for their entire life. We must see any other like these MPs or MLAs or MPPs or whatever you call name them. So they don't want to give a chance until and unless they don't get voted out. Like right now we have Ontario election. I'm praying that all elected who are seeking re-election, may they lose, like let a new person come in and to be more energetic, like what we are calling. And I'm looking forward on February 27th. I will be declining my vote, sending a message to the election Ontario. This election does not work. I'm not satisfied with the rules and regulation. What you put in place, that we have an election, we have an early election, we don't have, and the other thing is like all the candidates don't have the equal chance to run. Like why? Because they don't get the equal coverage. If you give the equal coverage, as I think global news reporter was saying that Doug Ford cut short his press conference and did not allow like a reporter to take more questions. So why do you give coverage to this idiot? You need to boycott him. Like you don't need to give them a coverage. So this will be a big hit to that person because he needs you. If you just one day boycott him, so it means that the next day you will think twice before calling out that we are not going to taking any question. So I don't know, like the media is the power. I don't know, like why media does not use its power. Like right now, I have my YouTube channel. Like I know, like this is a small channel which is little audience, but I'm not going to like as I'm not getting like response from these all elected officials. Even though Green Party is nothing, but Green Party thinks like it is a big tent party. So it is th- this party is refusing my request. So I'm not going to waste my time to sending you request. Like I'm not going to give a damn about you folks. So I'm trying to bringing the similar parties. Like the mainstream media does not give coverage because right now I have contacted to this new Blue Party Ontario, and there is another party Canada, Libertarian Party of Ontario. I don't know, like that is something called. Like they quickly responded, and we set our time. The media need to change its uh, uh, change way of reporting. They need to change the things, like you don't need to always give coverage to this big tent party like person like Doug Ford. he ne- like whenever you see him, like he's a selfish guy. He's not going to give a damn about anyone. What do
But
you
of
think?
course, Sammy. No, you're not wrong. And the thing that I drives me crazy too is that I said they do want this power, and then when they get voted out, they end up getting jobs in. They not how many politicians when they lose go back to their original profession? It's
Never.
like almost none of them. I think they all end up getting jobs in think tanks where they still are influencing public policy decisions. Like I think the only even yeah, like or they'll get jobs as lawyers in things that are like it's very rarely do you have a guy that was like I was elected as a carpenter and now I'm going to go back to carpentry. It's very very unlikely. And sort of that absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that giving more it's tough because it's like if you don't interview the main parties, then they kind of start to say whatever they want and then it's not be you're kind of stuck in this weird rock in a hard place because you're right you should just be like we're not even going to bother covering Doug Ford and then he'll be like okay well we have all these donation money so then we'll just do our own news things and then it'll be like then it's just completely wacky. I think i think it's got to yeah it's tough. It's like I guess you could just be really annoying and just like have one journalist follow Doug Ford every single day nonstop and just keep asking him questions. And when they're like the elevator opens up and they tell you not to get on, you run
Mhm.
upstairs and then you meet Doug Ford at the top and you're like, I'm going to keep asking you questions until like you have like one guy that is just incessantly following Doug Ford, and that is his job. And he just follows him like they follow or it follows the horror movie from 2000 like 18 and then just keeps following him until he goes crazy like while he's sleeping you're standing outside of his window and you're saying like Doug I have questions we have questions, Doug. And like he can't, there's like no peace. He's like, I'm gonna board this flight. And then he's like, he's gonna like wear a disguise, and then the guy is just behind him still. Like that's, I think, what you need. You need to be just so incessantly following him that he goes crazy, and then eventually he'll talk. But yeah, I guess yeah, it's not really a good time. It is interesting times politically, though.
Mhm.
Everywhere is interesting. Alberta's got some controversies. Ontario, Canada, the whole thing is just
Mhm.
wacky.
Like this, the liberal polls are suddenly changing. The gap is coming closer, and it seems like today there was a poll from Plaintiffs. What that poll study is called? Today there was a poll released. A latest liberal poll. Latest. So they
So,
suggested that liberals are ahead if Mark Carney is the leader.
so what I will say here, Sammy,
Mhm.
just to when John Turner became the leader of the Liberal Party back
Mhm.
in like 1984.
Yep.
The Liberals were at, so Brian Mulroney becomes Conservative Party leader. The Conservatives are at 62%.
Wow.
62. And then Trudeau announces his resignation as Liberal Party leader. Pierre Trudeau does.
Hmm.
62 drops down to 46.
Wow.
John Turner becomes Liberal Party leader.
Hmm.
Conservative drops down to 39. And the Liberals jump up to 49. Liberals
Wow.
are at 48. Liberals are at 49. The election is called. They call the election because they're like, we're winning. And then the conservatives get 50% of the vote. So I think it's obviously, yes, the polls are certainly showing a liberal swing, but I think that's just natural. It ultimately doesn't matter when election time happens. Um, right now, Mark Carney is probably going to win. I think we can assume. I think it would be very unlikely for someone else to win, but let's say Mark Carney wins.
Hmm.
right now the liberals are having a big boost, and then just like I think it's what's going to happen back in 1984, it's going to it'll drop down pretty quick. Um, as long as Pierre Poilievre doesn't turn too snidey
Mhm.
and too many catchphrases, so long as he does that, I think he'll be okay. Um, but that also was a time when the NDP had like 20% of the vote. So that becomes a whole thing right there too. But I still think it's going to be inflation because it's a new person. And then Canadians just get tired of political parties after 10 years. And I think it'll drop down again. I don't think the conservatives are going to get as big of a majority.
Mhm.
But I still think they're going to get a pretty significant majority because I think we were looking at like they could be the leaders of the opposition if they wanted to, um, like split the party in half and they could have them be the opposition. But now I think it'll still be a big majority. I don't think the Liberals would get over 80 seats, but it's not going to be like they before with Trudeau, they were going to get like 7 seats.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, like I
but
was
I
talking.
just,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I said the pollster was like Payless data, like that is like federal voting intention with Mark Carney as Liberal Party leader. So Liberal is 40%, followed by Conservative with 38, and NDP 9, Bloc Québécois 7, PPC 4, and Green just 3. So those are the number based on this.
Um,
I know
God,
like this won't be a true.
unbelievable. Jugmeet Singh, what a fool.
Yeah, I don't know like why
Called,
the hell Jagmeet Singh does not resign. Like you supposed to, like this should be the party for the next government, but an alternative liberals.
like the 9% is that's well, now you think back to had they called that election a year ago when
Mm-hmm.
everyone was saying we need an election, call that election a year ago, NDP get 60, like they might get double the where they're at right now. That's crazy. That's funny. In a way that's like horrifying if you're a new Democrat.
Yeah, I would love
Um
to see
yeah.
like if there would be an election and NDP would receive just less than 10 seats. So where would they stand? Like Jagmeet Singh should be fired immediately.
Yes, I think yes. Well, the thing is like the NDP are different than the other parties because they really tend to hold on to their leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Like ND like that's I think where it gets funky. Because outside of Thomas Mulcair,
Mm-hmm.
they hold on to their party leaders for a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Douglas was leader for 10 years. Then they had a quick guy. And then Ed Broadbent was a leader for 15 years. And then they had a quick interim. And then Jack Layton was leader for 10 years. They seem to hold on to their leaders for about a decade. And Singh is at about 8 years. So I have a feeling um, that yes, if it's catastrophic,
Mm-hmm.
Singh is there's no way he's going to be sticking around. There's no way. That would be crazy. I would be blown away. There's
I'm
no way.
thinking like
Yeah.
Singh will lose his own seat.
The only way I think Singh would stay is or like survive would be if they maintain what they had. Like it's not worse. I think he might stay for more can, but I doubt he will stick. I think he's done after this.
Done.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like
if
my
the
internet is
NDP can
slow
like
or yours.
maintain it.
Like something is bad.
Uh-oh. It might be mine. I might actually be able to go on my computer, so give me a sec. I think I have
Are
internet.
you there? Yeah, I think you are there.
Hello, hello, hello. Yes, I am here.
Yeah, I can see you. I can't hear you. Did
Hmm.
something went wrong? Okay.
1 second.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try because I think my internet's not gonna go down. Let's try some magic, Sammy.
Hmm.
Da-da-da-da, da-da-da. Do you have any fun stories from work?
One stories. Not really. Like I'm working. Just I'm going to work tomorrow. Like I will go to work like 8 o'clock until sometimes 6, sometimes 7, sometimes 8.
Oof, let's
Oh,
go.
we have someone else. No, Donovan. You have new Donovan.
Oh, there's so many of me.
We have two Donovans.
That's cool.
Okay, now I think this is the.
There we go. Oh, now we got good Donovan voice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my friend.
Hello, Donovan.
Hello, hello, hello. Yes, the internet is now back, so I can not be on my data. So,
Mm-hmm.
yes. No, I said I think Singh, the only way he sticks around is if they maintain the seats. It's not worse. They might keep him for one more go and then boot him. Or he'll resign. If it's bad, he'll be kicked out. There's no way he stays. There's no way. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy, Sammy. It
Mm-hmm.
would be cocoa cuckoo bananas.
I'm just
Sammy.
doing some sharing
That's okay. Good.
the
Share.
YouTube. So like I'm very close. Like I just need less than 400 hours to get monetized. If each person watches 1 hour, I it will be done. I need 400 people.
Just each person watches an hour. We'll make it happen, Sammy. We're close. I can
We
smell
are
it.
very close.
I can smell it. I like it, Sammy. I think we're gonna make it. I think it's at the end. It'll be good.
So like here. So Trudeau announced today three senators.
All right. That's
I don't know.
silly.
Like I think all are maybe from Liberal Insider.
Oh my gosh, don't do that. That's what brought down Turner. That's like one of the reasons that brought down John Turner was appointing senators when your time is running out. And then
Hmm.
it becomes a very easy thing. Like it's stupid. And it's like, "Oh, don't worry though, they're independent, right, Sammy? They're independent, right? That's silly.
Yeah,
It's a very
they are
silly thing.
independent.
It's frustrating. It's nuts. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know. Like, I think we need elected senators, or we don't need senators at all because they don't do a job, like at all.
yeah,
Like, they are
very
just
few
using taxpayer
times.
money.
Very few times in Canadian history has the Senate actually said no to whatever the House says. It's one of the
Mhm.
reasons, like, in a way, Canada has it a little okay when it comes to like um, getting things done more efficiently than the states. But in turn, if you win the House of Commons, you can kind of get carte blanche and do whatever you want, which is not necessarily great. Um, but that is the way it goes, Sammy. That's, you know what? There's nothing we can do. We just
Mhm. So,
there's
is
nothing
there
we can
any
do.
chances like there will be another referendum on Quebec separate, Quebec independence? I
No,
think
I don't.
there are some chances.
I don't think
May
so.
Quebec should be a free state. Leave, kick Quebec out from Confederation. We don't need Quebec.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think I everybody there's I was seeing people being like, this is the highest it's ever been for like referenda or like separatist talk. And then I
Hmm.
look at the stats and I'm like, it's not even above 40. Like it's high, it's going up a little bit, but I think a lot of young Quebecers are Canadian and they enjoy being Canadian. Well, you saw it too with this the tariffs coming in. A lot of Quebecers were like
Hmm.
the Trump, yeah. deux, trois, je ne sais pas, je suis Canadien. And you're like, okay, holy moly. I appreciated it actually. It was kind of cool.
No, like right now the separatist party. I don't know like what is that called in Quebec.
Is it the
That is
PLQ?
uprising in the polls. That would form the next government. I think they are going to call a referendum.
Yeah, well, but like there's a difference between yeah, they're a separatist party, I guess, but like how many people vote for them because they put Quebec interests first?
Mm-hmm.
And how many people are like, I want to still be in Canada. I just want to have a party that is going to be more aggressively Quebecian.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really buy. It said I don't buy. Maybe I'll eat crow. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen in 3 years? Maybe Pierre Plamondon is going to uh, punch Pierre Polyev. Uh, uh, Probably. Like I don't know. I don't. I highly. I said just the vibe. Young Quebecers don't want to leave Confederation. They might, but I think they like having a party that is pro Quebec. It's sort of the same thing. It's like you look at West. There's parties that are pro Alberta. We see it with
Mm-hmm.
or pro Saskatchewan or pro this. Like it's not necessarily separatism. I don't think it's going to necessarily lead to that. Though the party might be confused and think, oui, they like to do this. They want us to separate. This is a good thing, and then they completely misread the room, and then they lose. So I said I don't think it's necessarily a thing yet.
Mm-hmm. But these Quebecers, like they are mostly bilingual, right? Like it mean if you learn French, it would be more easier to learn English as compared to learning French, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, like a lot of Quebecers that I are outside of like the rural northern Quebec, most speak English fairly, actually quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Better than my French. My French est très terrible. But
Mm-hmm.
like their English is pretty solid, and that's typically yeah they'll learn French first, and then they go take English class, and they'll have some understanding. It helps too that you have media that's fairly English focused. They have their own shows, but like you watch The Simpsons or you watch
Mm-hmm.
media, it's typically though Quebec has their own Quebec French Simpsons, which I watched with Jean-Patrick Barthiaume when I went to Ottawa to do a thing with the rhinos. So that was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, I
But
don't think it's
is France French is different than Canadian French?
yes, it is. It's very different. Um,
Is it the accent is different like British and Canadian or North American, or it's
it's
different word?
it's almost like there's different words, there's different slang. The way sentences are constructed are slightly different, but it's really like the accent is a lot more focused. French is a lot more proper. I guess if a Quebec like if you're from Quebec and you go to France,
Mm-hmm.
people can understand you can understand what's being said. They can probably it might take a little bit, but you might sound like really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like if you go to different parts of the United States, right? If you have somebody from California versus someone from Louisiana, from the
Mm-hmm.
rural parts of that, it's like, yeah, you guys are both speaking English, but you have different words and things like that. So it's and sentence structure is different. It's really neat actually. What kind of comes from being in this weird pseudo English, pseudo French, protectionist French, partial things like it is a neat. You should research a lot more about it. It's actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I don't know, like why there is no free classes for Canadian citizen to learn second language. I did not know, like at that time I never interested. Now I'm interested to learn French, but it is charging like $320
Yeah.
for just online. Like I don't know, like it is what to pay 320 to learn French like online.
You might be able to like I don't know. So what I would recommend, and it actually kind of helped me out, is watching French TV,
Mm-hmm.
which we do get access to. We do get access to like CBC French,
Mm-hmm.
and watching it a lot. you actually start to pick things out. I actually got a fair amount of my French from watching The Simpsons, which I have on DVD. I would watch the French audio version, which is in Quebec French. And then that helps me. The only problem, and it's similar too, that's actually how a lot of ESL learners tend to, or like watching TV and start
Mm-hmm.
pulling things from that. That kind of helps out. That's how actually a couple of the Quebecers learned, was watching TV, which is why they actually have, when they really focus, they kind of get some really good American television accents
Mm-hmm.
where they can kind of be like, "Oh, hey there," and you're like, "That's neat." But yeah, I'd say it's watching a lot more French programming might help out, and then just do a couple tests on like just brought there's free things probably. Like not professional. Like yes, if you're gonna want to like really learn it, obviously get a teacher. But if you want to like kind of spend some time, I think maybe watching like a half hour of French Simpsons a day might not necessarily be the worst thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea. I will take it.
Good. Watch The Simpsons, and then you can tell me jokes.
Mm-hmm. So, like, what would you take, like, from Donald Trump tariff threats, tariff, tariff threat? So, is he going to impose them on Canada?
Well, I think we talked about it very briefly before we went on our little month-long hiatus as we were both working. And I said that like it was more of like a bluff. Like I think that he's using it as leverage and to sit down and say, do this, do this, do this, do this. Uh, I highly doubt they're gonna go in. I think if it does happen, it'll be rectified pretty quickly. Like just to be like, this is what we can do. But it's I don't think I think, well, this is, when we talk about like the chickens coming to roost with the liberals, you sit down and you trash talk Donald Trump forever, and then all of a sudden he wins. He might do it for maybe like a couple weeks just to be like, this is what I'll do to you, which then will sort of accelerate it. But I said it's tough for me to think that he's going to go through it. Considering too, he said it's going to happen. We're going to have it happen. It's definitely going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. And then a day later says, okay, I've pushed it off. It'll probably do that a couple of times. But I think, well, the board, I don't think also it's about the border. I highly doubt that. I don't think it's about like safety, considering he's been ranting about economy and stuff. So I think he'll do it a couple more times just to get Canada to do things, increase military budget, so then he has to do less things for Canada. Um, just it's like an efficient way of getting things done and cutting funds, right? Like right now, the United States kind of has that whole NORAD, that whole northern space is pretty much protected by these states. I think he would just
Mm-hmm.
like to not have to spend money up there. And if Canada can hit its 3% NATO target, he'll then put the tariffs off again. And I have a feeling that's kind of what'll be the next thing. Whatever he can do to cut money will be good. And whatever you can do to try to make America money. So I said, I think it's mostly just going to be bluffing from here on in.
So, like, this NATO, like, defense spending, is Canada, like, Canada does not spend on its military, or it does not spend on NATO? How it works?
So, in order to be a member of NATO, I think it's 3% of your defense, 2%. So, 2% of your GDP has to go to your defense spending. That is what it is to be a commitment to it. The problem is that Canada, a lot of countries actually have not achieved it. It's really been the United States, which makes sense. It's like half of the United States' expenditure is pure uh, military
Military?
spending. So if we look here, Poland, Estonia, the United States, Latvia, Greece, Lithuania, Finland, actually, most of them are at the NATO guideline. Canada is just underneath. So yeah, so I think if Canada can hit that 2%, which is it's a significant chunk, I have a feeling that'll be Trump's next thing, being like you have to commit this 2%. And I have a feeling that there's a lot of walking around with that. But then he can sit down and be like, okay, good. Now that's less things to do. Because it's like the tariff threat is getting things done. Like, and I think he's just going to keep doing it. And Canada will keep on adjusting it. Mexico will keep on adjusting it to avoid it. Um, if it
Mhm.
does go on, he might do it for like a week and then stop it because look at how benevolent I am. I could see that happening and then being like, oh, thank you, Mr. Trump, President Trump. But I don't think he's going to instill it long term. I just don't think he's going to do it. Particularly too because I think that there's a lot more trade than people expect with Canada,
Mhm.
and there's a little bit more on particular things. Like, yes, Canada doesn't have a lot of like product. We don't have a lot of like produced things that go down to America, but a lot of natural resources do. And I think the infrastructure, the cost to make that happen, isn't feasible as much as President Trump thinks it is. And I think he'd quickly realize, particularly if oil development or oil gets cut, that might be a bit of a problem for him, and then he would probably instill it back up, which he's already said with the tariffs. But even 10% tariffs on oil is a significant chunk of change. So
Mhm.
I said I think he's going to keep using it as a tool,
As a weapon. Yep.
yeah, and as a bluff, and being like, this is what I can do. And then yeah, if he does instill it, it'll probably be like a week, and be like, look at what I've done. Look at what I've done to your GDP, Canada. Look at what I've done. And this is the best that you can do. I'm gonna So pathetic. Be the 51st state. Did you see what Trudeau said about the 51st state today?
Yeah, he says like Trump is not joking. So what does he mean?
Well, I think he's saying and then they cut the microphone off. So he had a hot mic and he went behind to talk with the business leaders and it wasn't supposed to be still going. And then he said that. I think you happen to in some way take it seriously, even if it's not. But the way that he has been talking has been pretty inflammatory. I think he would love if Canada became the 51st state. I think that's true. I think it would be certainly a nice legacy to add on to your presidency, right? Like you just took over an entire country. Like I think ultimately Donald Trump would really like that. Now, of course, how feasible is that to happen? That remains to be seen.
Mhm.
I've mentioned it on this show. It's harder for Canada to leave like the monarchy than Britain.
Yep.
Like you
Mhm.
need to have so many things succeed. So
Yep.
the only way Canada could become the 51st state would be if we were invaded, which would cause a really significant uh that would really boil the water, as they say.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's as people are sort of being like, oh, just do this. I'm like, well, it's not gonna. It takes a lot. It'll take a long time for sure.
But how do you see like Canada versus US like in terms of free speech? Do you think like Canada is more there is more free speech as compared to US or US is more free speech?
Well, no, well, like we don't have freedom of speech in Canada. We have freedom of expression. I think that a lot of people don't realize that if you read the
Yeah.
charter, we don't have it. So that's why we do have hate speech laws, which and there can be a complete debate about that, right? And I think that's sort of what makes Canada and the United States different, in a variety of ways. So yes, if we're talking about like freedoms, of course, yes, the United States has more constitutional freedoms, though, as we can see in certain things they're still legislating a lot of anti-freedom. So it's not necessarily as free as I think people want to make it out to be. Um, with that said, I think that there is a Canada that is. Sammy's just a chair.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
There you are. No, it's all good. I think Canada. There's a particularly this last couple of weeks. There's a Canada that I remember that's really kind of coming up. That's sort of like really proud of the way that our charter is, and I think that if we can keep that going, and I think Pierre Poilievre actually did a really good ad. As I don't like, I said I don't like any of the federal politicians. I think Pierre's a weasel. I think Justin Trudeau's an incompetent idiot. I think Singh is a fool. I think they're all bad. But I think Pierre Poilievre's like interprovincial video that he released a few days ago is probably the first good thing I've heard from a federal politician in a long time. He didn't use any buzzwords. He didn't use anything there. And I think he makes a good point that there's about $200 billion that are being locked up because of our lack of interprovincial trade. And I think
Mm.
if Canada can really sort of tap into that, I could see something really good taking place. That gets back to that sort of that Canadiana that used to exist that seemed to have
Mhm.
struggled the last little bit. And at
So
200, yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. Like, but how do you define the Second Amendment? Like these like Americans use it. Do you know
Like,
about it? Like they will say like whenever like they are speaking to law enforcement, they will invoke like Second Amendment. They then they don't say anything. Like it seems
oh, the
like
First Amendment. Second Amendment's the right to bear arms. So they'd sit down and be like, "It's my First Amendment." Well, like
first.
we have that in Canada. Like you can sit down and say I'm going to invoke my charter rights and you don't have to say anything too. Like it's a similar thing and they can't really do anything. Like if you could get pulled over and they'll sit down and say you need to breathalyze and you can sit look them in the eyes and say I'm not doing that, sorry. And there's nothing that they can now take you to the police station, but like we still have charter rights that are quite similar in that way. You don't have to sit down and admit that you've committed a crime or what have you. So it's not. I don't think it's necessarily like that. Um, Too crazy, if you
So
ask
they
me.
you said like that is First Amendment.
Yeah, Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. First Amendment is your freedom of speech. I think
Yeah.
First Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think
establishment
so.
for.
So, like yesterday, I was noticing our governor general, who is nothing else than making money. Like she received like I think extra bonus of 15,000 whatever. So our Twitter accounts, like on the X account, tweets like replies are turned off. Like our chief of defense staff replies are turned off. Then I checked like Iran's supreme leader, who is considered a dictator, but his Twitter account is fully like that. There is nothing turned off. Like it seems like they are more democratic to air the criticism as compared to us. Like today, then I received an email from chief of defense staff. They said like there is more disinformation ongoing. Like what the hell? It is not about disinformation. It is about criticism.
I
Like there are. It is different, isn't it?
I did like your post where you said that the leader of Iran has comments open
Yeah.
and that the governor general doesn't. But that opens up a thing too because it is you can still retweet it, right? You just
Mm.
can't reply to it, but you can still like criticize it,
Yeah.
and you still have that ability to, and you're not getting arrested for doing what you did, right? You're not sitting down, so you still have a little bit of it. But you're right that they do like to shield. They want to make sure that it's like, oh, only the people that follow me can reply, which I think is kind of weak. I
Hmm.
think you should be able to respond however
Yeah,
you.
it means you are unable to just reply to him. Like it means you are face to face, but your mic got turned off. Like you can't say anything. It
Yeah,
seems like similarly like that, but you can shout whatever you want to shout, like
yeah,
by
and
reposting.
that's fine. And I think that you're still right. You're not getting arrested, Sam. If you got arrested for
Hmm.
criticizing this, that would be I would be like, oh no, there's something. But like you still have the ability to go after them. You can sit down and like we have the ability to make fun of how, useless of a position it is. We're freedom. We have a free to do any of that, which is quite lovely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I appreciate that. And that's yeah. If we're gonna sit down and talk about like what the United States has versus what Canada has, but that's what makes us two different countries.
Hmm.
And we can sit down and debate the ideas and of what like hate speech is and whatnot. And I actually think to an extent I kind of I do enjoy the fact that we people can get arrested for being like full on Nazis or like threatening to and like to hurt people. Like you can't, and I'm like there comes a point where I'm like that's fine. What I have an issue with is when people start abusing it for anybody that is a speech that you disagree with. Um so like I don't know, it's a Canadian-ish thing. It's always been a Canadian-ish thing.
Hmm. Yeah, but like like so the US president has more power than a prime minister, right?
Yeah, the president sort of. It's interesting because it's like, well, the prime minister isn't really a. It's just a member of parliament that they say represents the party. The president can sign executive orders. The president does get that, but if there's like a bill
Mm,
that wants to, or if things get challenged in the Supreme Court,
mhm.
um, the president doesn't have actually as much power versus Canada, where if you have a majority, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And the Supreme Court's kind of useless up here.
But here, like, so Supreme Court has no power. Like, how
It
then they
does.
will
It,
change
it
it?
it does have power, but like a lot of them are it's a similar problem that happens in the States where people are appointed.
Hmm.
And then you kind of hope that the one that you appoint is not,
Hmm.
and that's where the political things happen. And the liberals have been in power for quite a long time. And all this has been established pretty well. So then we're kind of stuck in this thing where, yeah, there is a Supreme Court. And typically the Supreme Court kind of comes in clutch, though, when you look at the states, there was what was it? What was it was back in like the 1800s. It was a slave that was brought up to a northern state, and then the Supreme Court ruled, and then the slave left the owner, um and said like, I'm a free man because I'm in this northern state. And I think the Supreme Court said technically, because you're from the south, you're still like property of this person even if you're in a northern state, like you're not a free
Yeah.
man. And that was a very controversial Supreme Court decision. But usually it's fairly decent with most of it, but like stuff like that is not optimal. Um but
Hmm.
I don't know. It is tough to think about like who has more power, who can do what more. We always want to have power in check. That's why I like living in a Western country.
Hmm. But
Um,
like threatening is a crime. Like it would comes like like it means you are crossing the red line, right?
yeah, I think so. But I think if
But
you're going to sit down and writing things that being like, I believe that an entire race of people need to be eradicated, that's technically fine speech in the United States. That makes me uncomfortable. At the very least, you should get a fine.
hmm.
Like, I don't think you should get like fully arrested, but if you're going to sit down and say we need to eradicate all of these people, I'd be like, you should probably get some semblance of punishment to try to prevent that from being a thing. That's my 2 cents. I know that's a very controversial take, but
Yeah,
I don't think.
because mhm. Because like some people got arrested because threatening Justin Trudeau or Chrystia Freeland.
Yeah.
I think like I think I don't know, like maybe other premier or elected officials.
Yes, there's been people getting arrested for that, which I'm like, that's fair. I don't think anybody's. Oh, some people might say that, hey, I should be able to say that. I don't mean it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and that becomes a sort of an interesting discussion on that point. But, why do we have punishments? We have them because it's there. You're doing a thing that we want to not have happen, right? Like you drive badly, or it's like you speed. Why should I get a ticket? I've never gotten in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I'm going 30 above the speed limit, but I've never gotten in an accident. There are very good drivers that drive above the speed limit. Why should they get right? And we could sit down and talk about like how much the state should, and that leads to a whole new thing, Sammy. That'd be like another 3 hours of like, why do we have punishments from the state, right? And then we'd sit down, and that would be a very
So
long
is
discussion.
there like I need to ask you, is there in Alberta, like is there a route like here we have 407 which charges you? Is there something in Alberta?
I actually don't think we have.
This is a 407 toll route, like it would charge you like I
uh,
don't know like how much. Once I used it mistakenly, like I think it was costed like $8 or $10. My father paid for it. I
there,
didn't know like I
there,
was charged
there are no
toll
roads
route.
in.
Yeah.
There's no tolls in Alberta.
Mhm. That's good. Yeah,
So,
we have one
well, that's
in
because it's a private road, right? That's what I was
yeah.
hearing. That was what I was hearing from the NDP, the Ontario NDP,
Yeah.
say that they're going to purchase the
Yeah, they will
407 and
purchase
make
it.
it free. And I'm like, that's weird. Okay, like, oh, all right, whatever. because like it's not really a thing in Alberta. Like, you can drive on any road. There's no tolls. What? So
Yeah,
I
that
guess
is a toll route. Like, yeah, now Doug Ford is also saying he's going to purchase it. What the hell you did in your last two term? You did not purchase it. Suddenly it clicks you in your mind.
well,
Oh, we need to buy it.
when I was visiting, well, I've having been in Ontario and visiting you, I did take my wife said just take the 407 because like traffic had been just backed up, and so we did, and it makes that beep. It goes beep beep like because I think my wife's dad has the little
Hmm.
sensor, and
Yeah.
so it does it like automatically. So I just get a crazy beep, and I'm like, oh my god, is the car going to explode? But it did not,
Yeah,
which
so
is
then if you have that chip, like I think that is camera, whatever they call it, then you will be charged lesser, like because
yeah.
then that is for the camera, or I don't know, like that is something. But if you have that one, that fee would be waived off. Like you will be
There
charged just regular.
there's 5 roads in Canada that have tolls.
Hmm.
Ontario 407, the 412. Now we get to Quebec, and then the Confederation Bridge to go from Nova Scotia to Prince Edward Island.
Wow.
Those are the roads that have a toll. What is the Confederation? This is interesting. Confederation Bridge toll. $50. Wow. $50 to go across.
Wow.
To go
Just
from
for using that like road.
for using the Confederation Bridge to go from Nova Scotia to PEI.
So is it the only road?
Yeah, well, so that's the road that because Prince Edward Island for a long time was just an island. You'd have to take like a boat. Then
Hmm.
they built a giant bridge to connect PEI to Canada, and that is the cost. Though they do have shuttle services, so they do have like they have things for cheap. I could just walk. You could walk across it if you wanted to.
Yeah, I
How
will walk.
uh, it's free. For you get one bag for free if you want to walk across.
Wow.
Then if you're out of gas, you have to pay them $108. Oh, that's interesting. Confederation Bridge. I mean, that's a long bridge. Holy moly. 12 kilometers. So you could walk across it though,
Yeah. It would take like 2 hours for me.
or just run across it.
Mhm.
10K, get in an hour. Nice. That wouldn't be too shabby. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, tolls not really a thing out here. I guess for most of the country except Ontario, Quebec, and Nova Scotia and PEI.
Federation Bridge, there we go. Okay.
It's a pretty
So we
cool
are not going
bridge.
to PI. Okay, PI, we are not coming.
Or no, sorry, New Brunswick, New Brunswick, not Nova
New
Scotia,
Brunswick.
New Brunswick. I've gone across it. It's really neat.
Yeah, it is
Prince
connecting
Sammy, I think you would like Prince Edward Island.
really.
I think
Can
you
you
would
give me
really
that?
enjoy it.
I have a dream to visiting Quebec.
Well, you're close.
Yeah, I'm close. I don't know. Like now, I may need to work for this until this summer. Maybe
Yeah,
need to go there.
that's
Pay
not
off
too
my
bad.
debt, then I will be okay.
Yeah, hell yeah, Sammy, hell yeah. But anyway, Sammy, do you have any other discussions? I actually have I forgot I have stuff to do today.
Yeah, you may
But
need to do something. I'm going to write my column for the Ashwa
look at us go,
Central
Sammy.
newspaper.
Look at us go. We're making it happen. I love it.
Yeah, I'm writing on this fentanyl and US tariffs and border relaxation. Oh, where did I lose? I'm here. I don't know, like this camera got shut out. Something is wrong. I'm here. My camera. Right. Okay. So, have you had any connection or like contact with Adam? He's out of
I
touch
have, I
nowadays.
have. He's busy with school, so
Hmm.
he's just busy. He's busier than us, Sammy.
Wow.
He is a busy guy.
Okay, Adam, you must take care. Like we are always thinking about you.
We're always
Maybe you
thinking.
will
I'm
watch this
always.
one,
He
so
will.
you
He's
know, like
going
we
to.
discussed you.
Sammy, Adam's going to watch this guaranteed. But anyway, Sammy, I'm going to let you go. We'll do more talk. This was more of like this was pretty casual, like, but I think we touched upon kind of a bunch of different things, which I think is
Mhm.
good, and we'll discuss things
Yeah,
later when
maybe
I'm.
we will do another one next week.
Yeah, well, let's try. Just send. Yeah, you send me a text. I'm sorry I was late getting back to you.
No,
I was
no,
just kind
not
of
at
all over the
all.
place.
Like I know, like you got me on time. Like I know, like I have been busy. Like when I'm doing this work and I'm not free, so I'm saying that I have become lazy. Maybe
No, it's fine, Sammy. It's fine. It's all good.
hopefully. Mhm.
Get your rest. You're looking well rested. You're looking great. Like
Yeah, I
you.
ordered this new toys. Like I ordered three toys. Fourth one, but fourth one is broken. Like first one,
Oh
I
no,
already ordered. Yeah, this one
garbage.
is good. I'm trying to buy more these dresses. John Christian said like dressed well. Like he said like former prime minister.
He's a brilliant man, Sammy, and you're
Yeah, he
dressed.
gave an interview to a YouTuber. When I talk with his spokesperson who said he does not appear on YouTube. I don't know, like maybe that guy has more audience or he has an internal connection. So these folks like need some internal connection. I don't have any insider connection. So I'm good.
Yeah, just shake it down. You'll Sammy, when you get monetized, make sure you like and subscribe to the Sammy Parvez show, where the action is real. And then make sure you watch 1 hour of Sammy Parvez. Get it into your veins, and then you'll be good. I think that, and then
Maybe
you
you
get the
need to
connections.
send to your family and friend. Give them
I
some
do.
challenge.
I will. I will send them out. Yes, send it out.
Thank you so much.
But yes. Anyway, Sammy, take care. You have a
Yeah,
good
you
good
take care.
evening. I will
Good
wish you
weekend
well.
and wishing you very best on your the presidential race.
Thanks, buddy. Take
My
care.
pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, you take care too, sir.
All right. Bye
Please.
bye.